Hello, ACO reader, and welcome back to another University Deep Dive session. Today, we are profiling Harvard University and their Masters in Real Estate program. We're joined by Sam Chan, a student from Harvard, and let's get started. So, Sam, thanks for coming today.
Yeah, glad to be here. Hoping to create some good content for you guys. Hopefully helpful as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're excited to have you. And to kind of kick things off and get us going, let's turn time over to Spencer.
Yeah, thanks, Sam and Sam. It's a confusing episode today, but very insightful. So we have Sam Chan, a first-year Master's in Real Estate student candidate at Harvard University's MDes in Real Estate and the Built Environment. Did I say it right, Sam? Or correct me
yeah,
if
that's
I'm wrong
exactly
here.
right.
Yeah. So, but in short, it is Harvard's Master's in Real Estate program. It's where professionals such as Sam go to study graduate real estate education at Harvard. Talk to us first. Let's get started with what it means to be a graduate real estate student at Harvard. What's the curriculum? What's the process? Is this a 3-semester, 2-semester, 4-semester program? Just kind of give us an overview of what it means to study real estate as a graduate student at Harvard.
Yeah, sure. So as you were kind of figuring out, MDes, real estate in the built environment, is kind of a mouthful. Internally and sometimes externally, we just call it the Masters in Real Estate generally, because that's kind of what it is. And in terms of the program length, there are a couple options. You either have 3 semesters, or you can graduate in 4 semesters and you can like write a thesis, or you could just take classes for 4 straight semesters. And in terms of the curriculum, my favorite thing about this program and what brought me to this program is I only have 4 core courses, and then the rest of my classes I can take across all of Harvard and MIT. So as you guys know, MIT has a great real estate program as well. So half my classes are actually there, half are at Harvard, and I'm having a great time right now. I'm learning a ton, and the Harvard branding certainly doesn't hurt when you're looking for a job or looking to increase your network.
So that's fascinating, and I didn't realize this, by the way. So I'm learning along with the rest of you who are listening to Sam. So the curriculum there, the core you say is 4 courses.
Yep, that's right. It's a real estate finance and development course, a market analysis and urban economics course. Then there's public and private development, and there's another option, but I was going to take public and private development. And then there's one more. I haven't quite gotten to those yet. But yeah, so for this semester, I'm taking 2 of the required courses already, and then the other 2 are just classes I find interesting over at MIT.
That's fascinating. So is there a concentration? Like what guides your electives? Is there concentrations? I know many Masters in Real Estate programs do that, where you can concentrate in finance or investments or development or design or what have you. Or what guides, I guess, the electives that you choose?
Honestly, it's just so flexible. There are certain concentrations. I think they have 4 of them listed down. I'm like the more finance investment focused one. But some people choose to put them on their resumes. Some people just don't. It doesn't lock you in or anything. You take your 4 courses and you're free to explore whatever else you want, which is amazing. And
Yeah.
I don't think any other program offers that type of flexibility.
Yeah, it really is a blank canvas, right? You arrive on campus, you have the 4 courses you must take, and then you choose your own adventure in a sort of way. I would imagine, though, that those courses have to be within business or real estate, or I mean, to what degree do you have a flexibility in what you take?
Honestly, I haven't faced any limitations. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I know people who've taken like language classes just to fill up their schedule. So I think it's business, real estate, law. Like, you can take whatever you want across either of the schools, which is I know it sounds pretty crazy, but it really is a create your own adventure. It kind of matches the class profile of the people coming in. People have like drastically different, like, everyone loves real estate, but people have different backgrounds coming in. And if you're an architect, do you really want to learn about the design, or would you rather focus on like the finance aspect? And if you're someone with a finance background, do you really want to take like introductory real estate finance again, or would you want to like explore maybe some of the law or other aspects? So people go on to do drastically different things, which it's one of the great things I like about this program as well.
Yeah, and that's interesting. And you make a great point. Real estate, there's so many different tracks. which is ironic because in the world, to those of us who are outside of real estate means a real estate agent.
Exactly.
But when you really get into the industry, and let's ignore residential real estate altogether, we're talking commercial real estate. There are so many different tracks you can take, both in terms of property type discipline, investment type discipline, development, value add, core, to firm type, whether LP or GP or some combination of that, whether you're dealing in the capital markets, you're dealing as an operator. I mean, there's so many different paths that you can take. I like the idea that you arrive on campus and you can build like your own stew, if you will, and put in the ingredients that will ultimately most benefit your career. So let's talk a little bit then about extracurriculars. So very flexible academic rigor. What about the extracurriculars that are available to graduate students in real estate at Harvard?
Sure. So this is something I don't have as much experience in because I'm a first year student, and obviously the world is kind of not in a great place right now. So typically there are clubs and organizations you can join. There's the Harvard Development Club, and that's the real estate related club under the GSD, which is Harvard's architecture school. That is actually the biggest club on campus in terms of real estate focus, and it has 150 active members. So there's always a lot going on. They add a bunch of different things. Like there was a financial modeling workshop this past week. There's a trek coming up this week online, unfortunately, but we're getting to go to New York virtually and meet with some employing companies over there. And then there's this organization, the overall Harvard Alumni Real Estate Board, and they kind of work to conjoin the real estate experience across all of Harvard School, Harvard College, Harvard Business School, the GSD. So that's another thing that people participate in. I think it's pretty strong usually, maybe not so much in terms of an online setting, but I'm enjoying it so far, and I have found that there are extracurriculars to participate in still.
Well, that's great to hear. And my recollection is there's a case study competition that goes on. I don't know if it's in collaboration or connection with your colleagues over at MIT or not, but we'd participate in when I was in grad school. But yeah, it sounds like a lot of good extracurriculars that are available to you. Let's talk a little bit about alumni. So you mentioned just briefly the Alumni Association. What connection or as a graduate student, what interaction do you have with Harvard alumni, specifically alumni that are in real estate and that could lead to jobs at the end of your 2 or 3 or 4 semesters or however long you end up choosing to attend?
Yeah, so this is like a very American thing. It's like pride in your sources of like higher education. So I've had great responses from a bunch of people. I reach out to people from different schools at Harvard, and usually they respond. And aside from that, there are certain set events that the real estate club kind of puts together, and there's definitely lots of opportunity to meet some of the alumni. They want to come back, they want to help, but a lot of it is on you to reach out to them as well. Like a lot of them do answer. So it's a little of both. Like you do have opportunities on campus. They come and visit, they share their experience. There are a lot of different events, lots of different speakers from all over the place who come. But a lot of it is also reaching out on your own, showing initiative.
Sure.
And they usually do respond.
Now, are there tools? Are there tools that you're provided with? Like, how do you know who the alumni are in order to reach out to them? Besides LinkedIn and the obvious sources, is there like a database that students are given access to, or you can see who the alumni are, or what's the process for discovering those alumni and reaching out to them?
Sure. So before I got on campus, I obviously use LinkedIn. It's kind of hard because I feel like people name the degree different ways. Like they kind of show it on LinkedIn in different ways. So it's a little hard to find them, but if you look hard enough, you'll definitely find them. In terms of an alumni database, there is one, and it's pretty in depth. You can see like a lot of where people work. We're actually not allowed to share it with anyone. Like it's a very internal thing. So
Good.
I'm not sure how much I can share on that, but there is a database. We kind of know where people are, so we know like kind of who to reach out to.
Yeah, that's great. You know, some schools do that where they have an internal database that students have access to so that they can get a hold of alumni. Others, it's more pounding the pavement, looking through LinkedIn and the like, or getting referrals from others. So glad to hear there's more of a formalized process to that. Let's talk a little bit about outcomes.
Okay.
You know, you're in your first year, so you know, I don't expect you to speak to outcomes in a personal level, but students who come out of this program, and by the way, there's a lot of confusion. I think you know this well. Given the name of the program, there's confusion around: is this a master's in real estate program, or is this a master's in architecture program? And as
like a design program.
yeah, right. I mean, with the name MDES, there's that confusion. I think the MDES stands for Masters in Design, right? Masters in Design in Real Estate in the Built Environment, or is that the exact name of the degree?
It's Masters of Design Studies in Real Estate and the Built Environment. I think that's the official name for it.
Yeah, so that creates confusion. However, I've met some brilliant people who come out of this program and go into finance, go into investment, go into acquisition, development, and the like, and more of the traditional tracks. If you're coming out of an MBA in real estate or in a kind of straight down the middle master's in real estate program, in terms of percentages, and I know this is a tough thing to do, but in terms of percentages, roughly, what percentage are going into development versus acquisitions versus real estate investment banking versus more of an architectural or design track? If you could ballpark it, where are people ending up after completing the degree?
Honestly, I'm kind of afraid to answer this because I feel like I might just be completely off the mark. And it's such a small program, so it's kind of hard to like pinpoint the percentages over time. Each year, there's only 20 to 25 people.
Got it.
What I will say is, in terms of outcome, for some reason, there's this notion that you have to go to an MBA to work in like a top firm in development or private equity or investment banking. And I just find that untrue. If you on the write up, we work together to prepare. A lot of those firms are some really top notch brand name firms. So I want to say that because the type of people going in are so like varied. There are some architects who want to become developers. There are some people in real estate investment banking who want to go in private equity, etc. It's hard to put an exact percentage, but if you come in and you put in the work, I think that any option out there is available to you. And to kind of speak of outcomes, this morning I was actually interviewing for a Blackstone role. So this program doesn't close any doors. It's kind of hard to talk about exact outcomes. As you said, I'm first year, and it's a small program, so it's kind of hard to say exactly. But
no, that's a great answer, and I think you're spot on. First off, I have a master's in real estate degree, and I completely agree with you. It hasn't held me back at all. In fact, I was comparing MBA in real estate and master's in real estate, and they're largely the same. There are nuances, especially the 1-year master's in real estate program, to give you more of an accelerated edge, and are usually best suited for those who are in the industry already and are looking to stay in the industry. But regardless, completely agree with you. In 2020, there's very little differentiation between MBA in real estate versus a master's in real estate. And then I that makes sense around a smaller program. I mean, outcomes are going to vary from year to year, class to class, interest from one individual to the next. And it doesn't surprise me that a program of your caliber, people can come in and choose their own path, and ultimately where they end up is largely on their shoulders, and in leveraging the brand and leveraging the education and the network and the alumni network and the like. Well, that's great, Sam. So we're almost out of time. You haven't been on campus that long, and so I hope that this question doesn't throw you off too much. But we've been ending each one of these deep dives with a question around the most impactful moment. All right. So as you think back to the short time so far that you've been a part of the program, as you think of a moment that was most impactful for you, if you can.
Okay.
What would that moment be? Like, what was it? A class, an exercise, a trek, a webinar with alumni? Is there something that you can pinpoint that you could say, wow, that was impactful, and that will stay with me through the balance of my career?
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a little hard for me to say, but I did really appreciate my orientation week. I thought it was really helpful, and it kind of just laid out a lot of the information that I just passed on to you. And it really made me feel like I made the right choice. Back a year ago when I was applying, I didn't know I wanted to do this program. And even after I got in, there were certainly pros and cons. And I think my orientation really changed it, and it kind of explained some of the information I just passed over onto you about just how great the program is. It's very flexible. The network is great. The branding is obviously great. You can open a lot of doors that might not have been opened before. So yeah, my online orientation week, I guess, is my most impactful moment so far. But
well, that's okay. Yeah,
good
answer. And what it did is it solidified in your mind that you'd made the right choice, and that's always good to hear. Well, Sam Chan, look, it's nice talking to you, nice seeing you again, and best of luck with you this year and next, and in your career in real estate. With that, I'll turn it back to Sam Carlson to wrap us up here.
Yes, it could get a little confusing today, but yeah, thank you, Sam, once again for coming, and thank you, Spencer. Thank you, ACRE Reader, and thank you for watching this University Deep Dive.